England at the time. You could say we were the pioneers of online dating. I thought I loved that when my husband met. In 2005, we had our son Joshua. We were the typical family. Mark would go to work, and I was a stay-at-home mom. We liked to do things as a family, and we loved to travel. Our favorite place to go was the beach. We had taken Joshua there since he was a baby, and he loves to swim. I call him my little tadpole. We could never dream up what would happen to our lives next. December 7, 2012 started off as just another typical day. Joshua was sick at home from school, and Mark was out running errands. The phone rang, and it was Mark on the phone. In one single breath, our lives changed. Mark was calling to tell me he was having a heart attack. He wanted Joshua and I to know just how much he loved us, and he was calling to say goodbye. I wasn't going to let that happen. I called 911 and gave them Mark's location. As I walked into the hospital, I heard code blue, and the little nurse took me and said, "You need to come out of the room." And I knew in my heart it was Mark. The doctor came in to tell me that Mark's heart had stopped, and be prepared for the worst. All I could think about was our 7-year-old son growing up without his dad. After 8 minutes of no heartbeat, the doctors were able to bring Mark back to life. But the battle wasn't over. Mark was taken to the Cleveland Clinic Hospital, which is almost 4 hours away from our home. He remained in a coma for almost 2 weeks. He was very sick and needed a new heart to survive. No hearts were available. He was on life support for over a month. I can remember Mark having to shoot down his throat with a clipboard in hand and a pencil. He would play hangman with our son. He was right away from life support and could only communicate with us by writing. He had become more ill, and still with no heart available, the doctors decided to give Mark an electrical device called an LVAD. This mechanical device is a mechanical pump that is implanted into his chest to help weaken his weakened heart pump the blood through his body. Mark stands before you today, a man with no blood pressure, and Mark has no pulse. He is powered by electric at all times. Mark has a computer around his waist that runs the pump, and that computer is hooked to batteries. So today, Mark is battery operated. At home, Mark is plugged into an outlet. So as you can tell, this has changed our lives dramatically. Water is one of our worst enemies. Mark can no longer shower properly. We have been stuck in our car for hours waiting for storms to pass because we can't get out of the car until it's raining. But sadly, we can no longer swim in the ocean with our son. Thunderstorms are also a nightmare. Imagine being plugged up to the electric at night when a thunderstorm happens and our electric goes out. His machine starts blaring like a tornado siren. It's total chaos in the darkness. Mark only has minutes to switch the batteries. Our lives have changed so much. Even the little things are challenging. This device is giving us time until Mark's new heart is available. Our bodies were not designed to have motors running them. Without registered donors, there's no hope. And hope is all we have. I have hope that I will grow old with Mark. I have hope that we will be able to watch our son grow up together. I have hope that my little boy will once again be able to play soccer with his dad. I have hope that his dad will be there for him on his graduation day. The definition of a hero is a person who is admired or idealized for courage, outstanding achievement, or a noble act. By signing up to be a donor, it takes courage. And it is such a noble act that in my eyes, anyone who registers as a donor is definitely a true hero. Now I would like to introduce you to my husband, Mark.
So knowledge is power.
Oh, it's your elbow.
Oh.
The other side.
But you can hear.
That's his heart. He has no heartbeat.
That's my heart. I'll explain it in a minute. So you have to hear me a little bit. Knowledge is power, and if you're not sure about being a donor, then I encourage you to ask questions. If you're a donor, make sure to talk to your family about your wishes. 21 people in America each day die waiting for a life-saving organ. I've been waiting almost 2 years. 8 lives can be saved from one donor and impact up to 50 people. 95% of Americans support organ donations, but only 55% of the Highlanders are registered. Thank you so much for listening to our story. Now you can ask me questions. And actually, one thing I have to tell you is actually that's the reason why it's doing that.
He has no heartbeat.
Actually, this T-shirt is actually my CT scan. So this was my CT scan when I first had an X-ray, and I think it'd be really cool to educate people into, rather than saying, hey, this is what this is, that's actually what it looks like. Obviously not the heart, but this little picture here is that thing there, stitching to the top of my heart. Actually, this little thing here is a defibrillator. So if my heart stops, it gives me a kick up the butt, and I awake again. But yeah, that is actually a pump that pumps around. The blood goes from my heart into this, pumps through this, back out the other side, and it keeps pumping around. And this is the computer that keeps this going. And these are my batteries. They're a bit like your laptop batteries. So that's why I need everybody to become donors, because you don't know how anybody in your family that will end up having something like this or being to the point where they need help. Today I'm here doing this. Tomorrow's not promised. So I encourage everybody to just, even if you've already got a driving license, you can actually go onto my website and actually, who Ron is with, Lifeline of Ohio, and go back into your driving license and change. If you didn't think you wanted to be a donor to start with, you can actually change it and say, yes, I want to be a donor. Doesn't mean you have to pay anything or, go to any of these things. You're going to be my hero, and lots of other people's heroes.
And this, what Mark has on him, is actually a mobile life support. So without this machine, he would not be here. Is there any questions?
No question.
Mark, could you repeat something? You said about not having a heartbeat. What's that all about?
Okay, I do have my heart obviously is still in here, because if I didn't have a heart, then I wouldn't really be here right now. But actually, there are people that they are now actually taking parts out and putting plastic ones in, which is crazy. But this is actually bypassing the aorta. If you actually feel your pulse in your wrist, the reason being is because there's a little flappy little thing in your heart that makes the pulse. So if it's bypassing that, then I don't have a pulse. The really cool thing about this, which I don't encourage anybody to get one of these, but when you go to the hospital and you get a nurse you've never met, tell them to take the pulse, and they're like, you don't have a heartbeat.
Well, they listen to the stethoscope, and they're like,
and they can
hear,
because
they can't hear.
And they hear this noise.
They hear this instead of a heartbeat.
I wanted to get into WNCI, so that would be really free. Hasn't quite worked like that.
So the sound you're hearing, that's the motor?
That is this little pump right here. That's the reason why it's literally boom, 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 boom. It's pumping the blood. It goes to this side, and it actually, as the blood goes in like this, there's a little tiny fin that slows it down, makes it go nice and smooth, comes out the other side. So yeah, it's very good technology and it's awesome.
Only Mark's EF fraction, meaning how much his heart works, is at 10%. And so only the right top ventricle of his heart will be The rest of the large part of the heart is gone. It's no longer working. It's basically dead. So without him receiving this heart transplant, our lives look very different. So we encourage you to just talk, communicate, ask questions. You know, if you're afraid of certain stereotypes out there, you know, ask questions because there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, and just talking about it when people sign up.
The biggest issue is you can all go away and say yes on your driving license, but when it comes to the point, and I mean, if you can all put yourself in a situation where I'm laying on the bed and I'm, you know, dying, the last thing she's going to think about is a doctor saying, okay, well, once he's passed, let's see what we can do. Because everybody thinks, oh, you can chop you up, and it's not like that at all.
It is.
It's not like that at all. It's very...